You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender. Lisa Lewis is in the house. Welcome.
Good morning.
Glad to have you with us. Just a reminder, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financial plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. It is National Hot Pastrami Sandwich Day. I have not had one yet, but the likelihood is you may find me at Board and Brew sometime this afternoon. Go over there and check out what our friends over there are doing. I know I posted a comment to them on Facebook, on Twitter, everywhere possible to see what they might be doing to celebrate today. Keep a look at our Facebook page, Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook. See if there's any specials. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You will not leave there hungry. Just saying. Good stuff. Obviously, maybe it's not quite so obvious. There are a lot of people out there. It's going to 7-Eleven today. Have you seen how many people are at 7-Eleven? Just amazing how many folks visited one single 7-Eleven in Chino Hills. They wanted to see if they were going to be the one lucky person or one out of three lucky people or groups to win the Powerball. Thought it'd be kind of fun just to share some Powerball stats. So the jackpot ended, I think it was $1.589 billion. Call it 1.6. What's $110 million amongst friends? You know, what the heck. One winner from Chino Hills, one from Tennessee, one from Florida. Cash payout, $930 million. Split that three ways, $310 million each. Now, here's the thing that I was surprised by. You have to pay 20% to the federal government in immediate taxes. They take that before you get anything. The other 19.6% you get to wait till next April. So you're going to end up with a net payout, $187,240,000. And here in the state of confusion, as well as Tennessee and Florida, there are no state income taxes for lottery. So, Governor Moonbeam, you're not going to get any of that money this time. So just think, well, maybe you got part of the proceeds of all the people that bought it and lost. I guess it is a good money maker for the state in any event. If you remember the whole bottom line, and this is kind of an irony being that Governor Moonbeam just did come up with his state budget, and that budget included $70 billion for education. Interesting, there's no commentary on how to improve education. It was just how to spend more money. But if you remember when they started the lottery, when we all voted for it way back when, the idea was the money from the lottery was going to go to improve education and improve the facilities. Well, as do many of these referendums, it was not written properly. It was not written succinctly. So yeah, while the money goes to the schools, they didn't say anything about not diminishing the general budget by an equal amount, so there's really no benefit to the schools from all this money that the lottery's getting. Just a thought. In any event, the odds, 1 in 292 million in winning that lottery. So here's the issue that I have with that, and it's kind of funny because I have had this conversation. I don't know anybody that's of sane mind that buys a lottery ticket with the expectation or maybe anticipation is right, but you know that the odds are against you. It's not like there's any secret there. So what are you spending the money on? Is there any difference in going to Las Vegas? You know the odds are, or any one of the casinos, the Indian casinos, wherever. I think Atlantic City folded, so I don't think we can talk about Atlantic City. But any of these other places, you go there, you know the odds are against you. So what are you going for? Plain and simple. It is the entertainment value. I shouldn't use this line, but I will. Way back when, I used to really enjoy going to see Bill Cosby perform in person. And one of the lines that he used was really funny because I did watch him many times in Las Vegas. And he used to do a very, very funny bit, regardless of what some of the other things that he did that weren't so funny. But if he did them, and it's all allegations. I don't want to get in any trouble here. But one of the parts of his routine that was really quite funny was the issue that people would go to Las Vegas with an intention or a budget of how much money they were planning on losing. So his comment was, why don't you just save the money and send the check? That way you don't have to spend the money for airfare or gas or a hotel room or food or lodging. Obviously, the people there in Vegas didn't like that. They didn't think that was so funny. But that's the real issue in it, is the thought process of it's all about the entertainment value. It's not about the expectation of winning, because if you have any semblance of logic or knowledge, you realize that the odds of you winning are slim and maybe close to none. Let's say get struck by lightning twice is more likely than winning the lottery. Just a little thought there. Moving right along. Speaking of slim and none, well, I don't talk about slim too much because I don't fit that bill. Have you noticed all the rain we're getting? El Nino. Remember they told us about a 90% chance of El Nino being here and it being 60% chance being the worst ever? Well, I guess they've been off by just a little, being that we're halfway through January, give or take. And we had, 1 week of rain? They've got all these storms that are off the coast that don't seem to be making it here. So the question that inquiring minds might want to know is how much rain, El Nino rain, is needed to end the drought. Well, my commentary will be it's probably not going to be, we're not going to get that much water. I do hear that we are filling some of the underground water basins, they call them. And I don't know, maybe there's a hose or a pipe or something to fill those. But looks like we might be fizzling out on that one. Not fizzling out is going to be the excitement in Southern California. Yeah, the NFL's coming back. Interesting watching what they're talking about now. The NFL, the Rams coming back to California. I did see quite a few people yesterday talking about how horrible it is that the Rams are leaving St. Louis. And St. Louis has supported the Rams for all these years, and they up and leave. Can you turn your clock back to 1995? After the Rams had not ever won anything. At least St. Louis got a Super Bowl victory out of them. I don't think LA ever got a Super Bowl victory. But at least now we're going to get one thing for certain with the Rams coming back to Los Angeles. Jobs. Yeah, they're going to create that new stadium, about a $2 billion project. Should be some nice amount of jobs there. Although, if you remember, or if you noticed where the location, Hollywood Park, Inglewood, beautiful downtown Inglewood, just where everybody wants to spend their Sunday afternoon. Although it may be a little bit better then the next 2 years spending Sunday afternoons in beautiful downtown Los Angeles. I wonder where was Anaheim in all of this? We have that great park, or they have that Tustin Air Station. Wonder why they weren't looking there about doing building a stadium there. It would have been a lot nicer. Orange County, been closer to our friends in San Diego who may be losing their team, although maybe not. Certainly hope the Raiders don't come here. I'm not a Raider fan. You could probably tell that. But you are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, the most appealing aspects of home ownership. 3 ways to get a grip on your money in 2016, especially if you didn't win the lottery. And 8 tax moves to make at the start of the year, as well as talking about taking care of mom. Got a lot on the docket today, so remember, you can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you, but you can catch it on YouTube, Ron Siegel 1. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 01869452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. When you are ready for the true value of your home, the true amount of equity you have in your home, you must have a conversation with somebody to get that information accurate for you. The websites are not going to give you the accurate information, so simply text PEAR to 79564, PEAR 79564. One of the area trusted real estate professionals will be reaching out to you. National Association of Realtors just released their first issue of the Housing Opportunities and Market Experience Survey. That's a mouthful, so let's just call it the Home Report. In the report, NAR revealed that Americans believe to be the most appealing aspects of home ownership. I'm going to post this on Ron Siegel Radio today as well. 36% say a place to raise a family. 26% say owning a place of your own. 14% a nest egg for retirement. 13% financial security. 8% being part of a community. 4% settling down. I don't know what that means. It's interesting to see that the two most appealing aspects had nothing to do with money, but instead addressed the non-financial benefits of home ownership. I would suggest to you, if you're paying somebody else's mortgage, that's called rent, let's take a look at the opportunities to get you into your own home. We did chat just recently about, and we've done some programs, we'll do some more on this as well, 1 day out of foreclosure, 1 day out of bankruptcy, 1 day out of short sale. These programs are all now available. They're back again. And with that being said, how about getting into home ownership? Now be aware, yes, those programs are not going to be the market interest rate programs. They're going to be a little bit higher than market rate. But they're not going to be 10.8% above market rate. 10.8%. Where do you come up with 10.8, Ron? Well, that's what CoreLogic is telling us, or projecting to be the home appreciation in California in 2016. 10.8%. Pretty serious numbers. So that's just some information for you right there. That is the real-time real estate segment again. Brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio, offering you a complimentary professional equity analysis review of your home. Text PAIR, PEAR, to 79564. Great information there. So let's move right along to some more great information. Now, you've heard enough from me. Let's talk to Lisa Lewis, Preferred Care. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you with us today. Back again.
Yes.
You were here, last week or the week before? We were chatting about the trauma intervention program?
That was last week, yes.
The days are so fun on Ron Siegel Radio. They just kind of roll together.
I can't stay away.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit different today. We'll talk, then we were talking about trauma. Now we want to talk about not trauma.
Yes.
Take care of mom or dad or loved ones.
It depends on who's taking care of them. It can be very traumatic.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but that's kind of an interesting scenario. So let's talk about this, because frequently our seniors, our parents, our loved ones, we are looking at what they're getting older. We're getting older. We're the sandwich generation. I've got an uncle that's been in the hospital now almost a month. And you look at it and you say, the hospital work, everything, our whole society seems to change. One of the things I've noticed there, and being that you're more involved with this than me, when I used to hear intensive care unit, to me that always meant that, that was like last leg or unbelievably serious. Now it's almost like, I never heard of somebody staying in intensive care for weeks on end. Was that normal?
Intensive care is a higher level of nursing, a higher level of medical care than something else within the hospital. So if somebody needs monitoring on a regular basis, if they have some sort of life-threatening condition that requires that higher level of care, then ICU or the step-down unit is definitely where they need to be within the hospital. And yes, they can be there for quite a long time.
Okay, so, because I look at so many different industries, the hospitals nowadays used to be, when we were younger, I'll speak for myself, not you, because I know that you're much younger. So that issue, it used to be that, you go into a hospital, you have a surgery, you're in the hospital 2, 3, 5 days. Mm-hmm. Now it seems like every surgery is outpatient. They want you out of there.
Yes.
Are they saying that now we have at home we have a better opportunity to get cared for than in the hospital?
No, but I will tell you that at home you are at a lesser risk for secondary infections than you are in the hospital.
Okay, I'm just a simple guy. Secondary infections. Well, what's that mean?
Okay, so people that are in the hospital are very sick people. They have...
That would make sense.
They have illnesses, and then the hospital itself is a breeding ground for germs. You just can't get away from the fact. Doesn't matter how clean you keep it, how many times you sterilize something or wash your hands, germs are there. They're inherently in that area. So if you have someone who is sick to begin with, who has just undergone surgery, who is medically fragile, they are better off at home than they are within a hospital setting to recover. The other part of it is when they're in a hospital setting, they aren't required to do very much other than lie in bed. Physical therapy may come around once a day and spend 15 minutes with them to get them up and walk them, but everything else is being done for them. When they are home, they are and have one-on-one care, such as a home care provider, then they have to do more. We encourage them to do more. We encourage them to get up, to walk, to get out of bed, to bathe, to dress, to sit up, to eat, according to their abilities. But we do encourage all of those things, and they do improve most of the time far faster at home than they will in the hospital.
Well, that's the point that I was wondering about is, are they going to get better quicker, or is it because of the healthcare system we're just trying to push them out quicker?
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay. So... But at the hospital, there's a couple. Then you start looking at the financial aspects. The hospital, you're going to get you're getting medical care, medical coverage from the insurance standpoint, and there's people there on duty 24/7 who are trained.
Yes.
What do you do when you go home? Because I can't care for my mom, my loved ones 24/7. I got to try and make a living.
Then that's where a home care provider would come in. So home care, what the state of California now terms a home care aide, would be the person to provide that one-on-one care within a home setting or outside of a hospital setting.
So let's talk about that then a little bit. When we talk about the home care aide, as the state puts it, how is that going to different from a private nurse?
The home care aides do not have medical training, or that's not even accurate. They're providing non-medical care. So they're providing the care itself. The medical care is going to come through a home health care agency, and they will send nurses in, physical therapists in, respiratory therapists, whatever type of care is needed, medical care is needed, comes through the home health care agency, and that is still covered by insurance.
Well, that's an interesting differentiation. So now the people that were working, or some of the people that might have been working in hospitals, are basically out on the road. Or do I have to take the loved one to that person? No,
they're coming to the home or to wherever that person in need, that patient is.
Interesting. Okay, so we have to be there to do the non-expertise, so to speak.
Right. And many, especially for our company, most of our home care aides are in nursing school. So they have that higher level of training and education, but when they work for us, they are working in a non-medical setting. And so they have great knowledge, great skills, great education. So they're patently aware when there's a change in condition. They are able to pick up the phone and say, you know what, something is just not right. We need to have a nurse come out and visit.
So being that it's almost like a pre-apprenticeship.
Yes.
Right, because I think nurses, doctors, they go through some sort of residency or apprenticeship type training, what a lay person like me might call an apprenticeship. This just kind of is one step before that. So they're really working in their field but they're not to the level of licensing.
Right, and some of them are licensed as well, but they choose to continue to work in this type of a setting.
So they can be like the Uber driver of the medical profession.
It's really interesting because when someone that is going on to pursue a medical license of some sort, nursing, doctor, PA, whatever it is, when they go to do that, if they work one-on-one in a care setting first, they have a whole different perception of what it is involved in caring for their patients on a medical level once they move on into that medical setting.
So the bedside manner might be just a little bit different than the... What was that doctor that was always the arrogant? Well, we'll get back to that. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to talk more about home care services. Can't you just go out on the street and find... the guys that are hanging out at Home Depot, can't they just do that for us? Well, we'll talk about it. 3 ways to get a grip on your money in 2016, and some tax moves. Maybe you can save a little bit of tax money. If you want any more information on any of our topics, you can reach me anytime. Call the off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037 and DRE number 018694552.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
Listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. They all are. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer, they've got a great program on there. I think it's right in the middle of their webpage. When you go to CreditSanitizer.com, it's the FES Protection Plan. And I think it's just under $90 a month. You get the credit repair services, you get LifeLock, you get services for finding better pricing on drugs, legal drugs. Don't get any ideas. You also get some strategies on paying off credit card debt and some strategies on credit cards you might be beneficial for you. It's all there right there, about $90 a month, CreditSanitizer.com. So how about some ways to get a grip on your money? Number one, organize your life and accounts. I recommend highly using the mobile banking system. First reason is when you mail checks, you are really leaving yourself open to fraud. How hard is it to print anything these days? So if you're mailing a check, if you're getting a check in the mail, either way, it's very, very simple for somebody just to go and grab those numbers along the bottom and duplicate them. Save a little bit by not doing that. Also, the organization idea. I'm going to give you 2 items here for organization. Number one is Dropbox.com. It's free for the first 2 gigabytes, I believe. And store all your receipts there. Set up a file there that says taxes 2016. Yeah, 2015, you can't save that stuff anymore. It's either you saved it or you didn't. But taxes 2016. Then you go on your mobile phone, and I don't know about the Samsung. I do know on the iPhone. Genius Scan Plus. Genius Scan Plus. Take a picture of the receipt wherever you are. Convert it to a PDF, which it does it automatically for you. I believe it's another one of those free things, my favorite price. Upload it to your Dropbox account, and when it's time to do taxes next year, you don't have to search for all those receipts, for all those charitable donations. You just save them as you go. My idea now of filing, you're going to love it, especially if you're in Southern California, you'll understand this. My idea of filing is I throw everything in a big bag, in a drawer. And at the end of the year, I put it in I go and grab one of those, it's actually a Trader Joe's bag, those brown paper bags. And I throw everything in there, don't sort it, don't segregate it, because I've already scanned it. So I don't really, if I ever have to have a hard copy, I can go back there, which I rarely do, save it for the 3 years that the government requires, and you're on your way. Number 2, make a budget and stick to it. I'm not real good with this one. Give every dollar a job. Save for a rainy day. Roll with the punches. Live on last month's income. If you are commission-based, set up a salary for yourself. Figure out what you made last year, deduct 10% or so. Take that as a salary from your savings account every month. And start paying off debt. Again, here's the issue there. Is you have to have a game plan. If you are looking to pay off debt so you have no debt, then what you want to do is just pay the highest credit card or highest interest rates first. Again, that FES protection plan will do that for you. If you're looking to maximize your credit score because you're looking to buy a car or a house, then there's a different issue of what you're looking to accomplish. And there what you might want to do is you got to strategically pay down your debt to get your utilization rate lower. The idea here is get your debts to zero. The only debts I want you to have is good debt. That would be like home mortgages, where you're able to arbitrage, make more money than you're spending. That's the idea right there. That is Your Credit Matters. Again, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Continuing our conversation this morning, Lisa Lewis, Preferred Care, is in the house. Not literally, being that you do you take care of clients most of the time in their homes.
Yes.
I gotta be careful how we say that. Home service with a smile. That might be the logo of the new commentary for. I wonder if our guys, Guys, you're going to tweet that one out. Home service with a smile at Preferred Care. And you can take that however you want. Just don't send it to Bill Cosby, whatever we do. So let's get back to our conversation this morning. We're chatting a little bit about getting out of the hospital, how even now open heart surgery is an outpatient procedure, pretty close. And people are going home much quicker. I have noticed when I've gone to visit my uncle that every I think there's every 10 feet, the most profitable part of a hospital must be that antibiotic lotions or antiseptic lotions, whatever they're called.
Antibacterial.
That's it. Every 10 feet, there's another one of those dispensers. I even noticed at our studios, ESPN, our flagship, they've got them all over there as well. Maybe they do something, or maybe they get an advertising deal or something with these people. But let's talk about the difference. We've started talking about taking care of our loved ones at home. And then we started talking about not, as much as we want to be there, being there as much as we can. If it's an extended stay or an extended issue, maybe we have to get back to work. It was obviously a lot easier telling your boss that, hey, I can't come in because I'm at the hospital with my mom, dad, uncle, grandmother, whatever. Well, now I got to stay home and babysit. That doesn't quite carry the same weight. But there are companies like yours out there that will take care of these issues for us.
Yes.
So explain the difference in the companies. That's really what I want to get to is, we've got the underground economy that, especially here in the state of confusion, we know that the underground economy is huge. What's the difference between the underground economy and and what do they call it? The interruption economy is what they call Uber, I think, isn't it? I forgot. There's a name that they use for that now. But the person that's out there moonlighting doing this versus hiring a company to do it.
Well, as of January 1st of this year, the state of California is now licensing home care aides and home care organizations such as Preferred Care. And they are requiring that all home care aides and all home care organizations now go through a very, very stringent licensing program.
More government intervention.
Yes. If a company goes through the steps as we are doing so to become licensed, and it's a very arduous process. It's not an immediate. But if they go through the steps to do that, then that the company has any member of the staff, including the home care aides, have gone through a very stringent background check with the Department of Justice and the FBI. There is a monitoring process.
So maybe they can buy guns then too.
Yeah. Anyway, but
just I digress every once in a while. It's my warped mind.
Yeah, I know. So a home care agency has done these things. They have gone through the steps, and we have. I mean, there's a lot of things that we actually have to continue to follow even after that background section of it through the state. If a company has not done that, then there's a reason they're not doing it. And if they don't appear on the state registry, then I would give great cause for concern for why are they not on that registry. Same with a home care aide. Either they may not be legally able to work in the United States, they may have something in their background that prohibits them from being able to be licensed through the state.
What's required of licensing? I mean, is it like when I went for my mortgage license agreement, nobody really knew what the license was. They just said you're approved or not approved. But at some point we found out that if you've got a DUI in your background, you cannot get a license to do a mortgage. I don't know why a DUI and a mortgage seem to go together, but being that it's so new, does anybody really even know what the rules are?
The rules are out there, but it doesn't appear that the state really knows what they're doing yet. To be very honest, because when we call and ask questions, they don't have answers for us at this time. But even a home care aide, if they have anything in their criminal history, even a misdemeanor that is not a minor traffic infraction, they have to go through a waiver process, and they may or may not get that waiver through the state to be able to continue to work as a home care aide.
Is there a place where the average Ron can go I would say the average Joe, but that wouldn't be me, and look it up and see if a individual or a company has gone through this process?
Well, yes and no, because if you do not have the personnel identification number that the state issues to that caregiver, you cannot just search for their name on the registry.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
And then you also obviously have to know how to spell their name. And the other part that I'm going to suggest, we'll talk about it when we come back, is when you're using a company, aren't people interchangeable, so to speak? We'll talk about that because that's one of the main issues that I've had with the whole industry and those that are not using the industry. And we'll talk about it. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, tax moves to make at the start of 2016. We'll continue our conversation with Lisa Lewis from Preferred Care, seeing about how we can help take care of mom and dad, maybe get them to the doctor and be part of that process. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home, but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
West Automotive Group has been supplying San Diego County with the highest level of automotive service and repair for over 20 years. Visit them at westautomotivegroup.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. And as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today brought to you by the area trusted professionals, your household board of directors. Ron Siegel Radio. Text ATP to 79564. Get that household board of directors set up so that you can get some of the guidance that might be beneficial for you in 2016. Make you some money, save you some money. And I kind of look at them as being one and the same. If you can save money, you don't need to make more money. It's the bottom line that is really the bottom line. Just a thought. Tax moves to make at the start of 2016. If you're using your car for business, write down its odometer reading. If you didn't do it on January 1, no worries. Write down today's reading and estimate how many miles you drove since the beginning of the year. It's time to submit a new W-4 form to your employer if your marital status, number of exemptions, or key personal details have changed. Look at your tax return from last year and make a list of all the places from which you are expecting to receive documents. Get those ready. Again, you put all that stuff right there into your Dropbox account. You're using Genius Scan Plus, if you recall from the last segment. I also use a little notebook that I find very, very simple. No, if you're watching me, the notebook is not on paper. Evernote, another free tool that you can use to keep yourself, I try to keep myself organized. A lot of information. We'll post this whole program right there on our Facebook page. Tax moves to make at the start of 2016. If you want the article, if you want the information, just give me a holler, 800-306-1990. Email me, ron@ronsiegelradio.com, or you can go right there to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Continuing our conversation with Lisa Lewis, Preferred Care. If you're listening to the commercial that we just ran for Lisa's company, we got the website wrong. What's the right website, Lisa?
It's www.ourpreferredcare.com.
Ourpreferredcare.com, not your preferred care. Ourpreferredcare.com. Okay, good stuff there. So we were talking before the break about the licensing. You know, I'm just not such a big fan of license. We've got a license for everything. I think that you're going to have to, if you walk a dog soon, you have to have a license. But at least in this area, I'm wondering, is it more of an expense to you as a business owner, or is there a real benefit to it? Are people going to really, number one, does anybody other than those listening to us today, know that you require a license?
No. And to be quite honest, I don't think that licensing is a bad thing if it protects the senior, but there's absolutely nothing in this license that in any way protects our senior. All it does is it regulates how we do business and how we hire and pay our caregivers. But it does nothing to protect the senior. There is nothing written in it that requires anything about how care is given or anything that protects the senior. And because of the exorbitant cost of this, there is no choice between that and minimum wage going up again this year. There is no choice but for us to raise our rates for our clients, and our seniors are the people who are least able to pay for higher rates.
So why do I want to go to a service as opposed to just going out and finding somebody on the street?
Well, there's a whole lot of reasons to do that, because you know that somebody that is working for a company should have been properly vetted, which means we've always done the background checks. We provide a very high level of supervision over our caregivers, and we always have and will, even though that's not a state requirement. That is a requirement by me for my staff. But also, you know that if that caregiver that is scheduled to be with you is sick, there's always someone that we can put in their place so that the senior never goes without care. But if you hire someone off the streets, you're hiring one person with no background check, with no supervision, and with no backup.
That's a big issue to me.
Yeah. And what happens if you think that caregiver is going to show up and they don't? If our caregivers don't show up because they have to clock in and out with a remote timekeeping system that requires them to use the phone of the client in order to do that, so we know they're there. If they don't show up 5 minutes after, or don't clock in 5 minutes after their shift, we're on the phone trying to figure out what's going on. And most of the time, it's that they got caught in traffic, or they got there and the client needed something immediately, and they just didn't have the opportunity to clock in. But we know that they are there or they aren't there based upon that system. But who's watching that to make sure that the senior is getting the care that they need, that they require? And if the senior has dementia or gets confused, and they're telling their child, their adult child, oh, my caregiver didn't show up this morning. Well, if it's an independent person, the caregiver or the family doesn't really know. But if it's through a company like ours, the family is going to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, Mom says that the caregiver didn't show up today. And I can say, well, she clocked in at 8:59 this morning and she was there until 3 o'clock this afternoon. And I've got the notes of the shift to back it up so that
and you've also got Mom's cell phone number where that clocking in took place.
Yeah, we've got everything on it. But an independent person, you have absolutely nothing, and you have no guarantees of what they're doing, how they're doing it, or if they are even doing the proper level of care, or sitting there playing on their phone and not doing anything.
I think that's the biggest issue to me, not playing on the phone, but the biggest issue to me is the idea of, because I've dealt with dementia, I've dealt with, I don't know. Is dementia the global one, or is Alzheimer's a global?
Dementia's the global.
Okay, so I've dealt with the dementia issues, and there's a few things that you are expected. The seniors get confused. That's by definition. I've seen it where the seniors have accused a caregiver of stealing something from them because of that confusion, only to find out. It's that commercial that we see on TV where the lady's got dementia and her husband finds the keys that she lost in the refrigerator. Mm-hmm. Right? Those things happen. When you're dealing with a company, though, you can swap people in and out, so maybe it gives Mom a little bit more level of sense of security.
Right.
Right? I mean, you can't do that when you're trying to hire Johnny off the street. That doesn't work as well.
No, it doesn't. And one of the other components is, to have the same person there day after day after day, it sounds really wonderful to us as kids. It's like, oh, well, Mom's going to have the same person there. But you know what? Especially with someone who has dementia, I think it's really nice to have a couple of caregivers that alternate in and out, because you get different caregivers' perspectives on what's happening, but also that senior has someone new there to talk to tell their stories to.
Well, they might not, if they've got dementia, just my warped sense. If they've got dementia, they might not remember that they...
And it depends on the level.
Right. I mean, because I remember going through that, and sometimes you hear the same story day after day, and you just... Sure, got it. I understand, but you're compassionate with that.
But the caregiver it doesn't get burned out as quickly either, especially if you're talking about somebody who has some behavioral issues as well. So you've got more longevity with the caregivers that you put in place than you do if you've got one person that's there every single day and they're just done. You find a much higher turnover rate of caregivers in a situation like that.
Now you're talking a lot this morning, Lisa, about a caregiver being there every day. Is it required that they're there every day?
No. Any good reputable care company is going to tailor the care around the needs of the family and the person that they're caring for. So we have no set a minimum number of hours. We'll be there from 2 hours a day to 24 hours a day. We'll show up one time a month or multiple times a week, depending upon what the family and the person actually need.
What about if the stop and go, so to speak? You've got a senior. We don't have a lot of time left, but you've got a senior that goes into the hospital. Actually, it doesn't even have to be a senior. Someone who's in need goes into the hospital. Does the caregiver... Do you get rid of the caregiver? Does the caregiver go with them? What are the options there?
The caregiver can go with them, and I always suggest that that happens, because all of us need an advocate when we're in the hospital, but seniors more so than anyone else. And that way that caregiver can be there. They can help that continual level of care. They know that person really, really well, much better than the hospital staff does.
And the hospital staff nowadays is really overworked. I mean, they're pushing and pulling them to try and get them to do 10 times what they were doing before, and all the extra regulatory requirements. So you look at them and you say, how in the world do they get all this stuff done?
Right.
The whole idea here is options. Also, what about taking mom or dad to the doctor?
We can do that as well, and we do that quite often. And once we get there, we can put the adult child on the phone with on speakerphone right there within the room, so that they hear everything that the doctor has to say and are able to answer their own or ask their own questions. And then that way, they don't have to take time off of work or away from their other responsibilities.
It's going to mess up the doctors. I don't know about you, but I've always had it where when I was trying to connect with the doctor when I had a loved one in the hospital, they always seemed to be there when I wasn't. So this might solve that issue. Great information. If you want to meet Lisa, give me a holler at 800-306-1990. I'd be happy to introduce you. And be sure to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. And very big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. Thanks for the interns tweeting out for us as well. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime. You want to meet any of our guests, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun, have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
In the middle of our streets, our house.
XFPL 1700 AM, Tecate, Baja California.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.